Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's July, oh Christ, what is it today? July 26, 2021. And one of the things I've been working on, I'm propagating the gooseberry plants. These are simple layering. In other words, laying down some new growth that comes up, laying it down, and then allowing each one of these nodes where the leaves come out to send up new shoots. And that's what's happened all along in here. Now I have a couple of weeds I've got to pull out, but I've been doing this. I've been building up the, this is hardwood bark mulch. And so I have that delivered at this point. And what I'm going to do is mulch up some of these areas a little bit further, because when we have the soil level up like this high and leave this much above, these will all send out new roots, and each one of these will be a separate individual plant. Now this will have to be done at least one more time after this, but I know that this has been a season-long project. Starting off in the very early spring, I laid down, I don't know, half a dozen gooseberry plants on their sides, and then covered the root ball up and just laid out the branches. So this was one plant here, this was another one, this one may have been one that went both ways. So maybe 3 here, 4, 5, probably 6 or 7 plants that I laid down in here. And my goal is to get each and every one of these shoots that have come up from that to be new plants as well. So this is, I used hound to go out back and get some of the hardwood bark mulch that's been double ground. And this stuff is going to turn into beautiful soil ultimately. It's pretty darn good for our perennial plants, because it's going to have lots of fungal organisms growing up in it. So first, I see there's a weed right there. I want to get that one out. And so I'm just going to go ahead and start here some. And could I use a shovel? Yes, but I could damage more plants by using a shovel. So this is painstaking, pain in the butt job, which I enjoy. And what I'll do is I'll leave the drip tape down until I get a few feet down, and then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and pull the drip tape up some for after that. But the drip tape and the mulch that's already there is already supporting some of the plants. Now this process will damage some of the plants, but for the most part, and these ones had stood up last time, they had gone back up last time we talked. This scoop I got on Amazon, if I can remember. This is a scoop that I use for potting up our potted plants, and I really like it. It really is, it's actually intended use is a grain scoop for your horses and goats and your livestock. And this being lightweight aluminum, we've had one since we had horses back in the 80s. And I bought this one because I couldn't identify the other one right off the bat. And these aren't that expensive, and they're really handy for putting soil, or if you're spreading seed, it works for spreading seed. It's handy for actually a whole variety of different missions. If you're to use fertilizer. If I was transplanting a large tree, I'd use a scoop smaller than this for setting down the mycorrhizal fungi. Now some of these are going to have to get bigger. These little ones here are going to have to get larger. I've got to keep making sure my camera's pointing down. Sorry about that. The smaller ones I have to be really careful with because I can damage those super easy. And some of these down here I want to put soil underneath them, or the mulch, which in 2 years' time will be beautiful soil down in here. So this is a way, like in permaculture, we're always looking at our margins, and our margins can be very productive places. And the deer come through here every night and they munch a little bit. They don't bother the gooseberries very much, but they are here. The beans last year, boy, they went after those beans that we had all along in here, but the beans met their function. They did feed the wildlife, and one of the things they did do was they provided nitrogen to the soil here. So that prepped the area for this season to be able to start growing these perennials, because it was just straight wood chips before. And there is compost on the other side where the honeyberries are. So if you had a family with some young folks that interested in this stuff and making a few extra bucks, heck, I think that in the right locations you could get them started and do their own financial investments in the future as well by propagating plants for sales. And I know several people have come by and bought some of the plants that we've had, have told me that the place to go, which I haven't done, is go to the farmer's market. We have a good size one in Syracuse. I like the one in Oswego. The one in Fulton, which is closest to us, is pretty small. But I just don't have the time, unfortunately. And I'm not really much of a chatter person, although on YouTube I may seem like I am. I'm not someone that really likes to sit around and chat with folks. I don't mind giving instructions about how I think the best way to care for some of the plants, but other than that, with Thea, all right, here's a good example. So this is one of the stems that I laid down before, and see, this is where a leaf came out and new shoots came up. So that's a really good example. That'll probably give us 4 or 5 plants, that one shoot that came up. This material will start to settle because there's little air pocket voids all around in here. So that as hopefully we'll get some more rain. This year hasn't been such a severe drought, thank God. It's really worked out wonderfully. As I mentioned, we got some rain the other day. Syracuse got some rain, I think it was yesterday. We didn't get any, but I was hoping for it. So this week, if things go well, they're going to get a delivery. That's going to make some changes around here. Don't want to say much more yet. I don't want to spoil the excitement that I'm experiencing. I shot some video the other day with the helmet cam on, and I never posted it because, well, unfortunately, the angle of the camera really didn't display what I was actually doing. And I'm hoping to share, I just got to do some editing with the footage for the harvesting, and we're processing the the garlic right now. I already posted a video just a short time ago about the, and you see when I did this, about the shallots, sorry, when I did this, even though these were really close to each other, leaf nodes coming up, I want to separate them some. I got more weeding to do around here. One thing that really is nice is the better your soil is, the easier it is to weed. Not that I want to do any weeding whatsoever, but the nicer your soil is, the easier that those long taproot or those tenacious lateral sides of bindweed and quackgrass, mugwort, all of those things are just much easier to pull them right out with the soil being nice and loose. So the whole process is just gradually teasing each one of these to separate them a little bit so they aren't too close together. That'll encourage them to send out more roots each one. And you don't want to throw too much soil on initially because you're going to cover up some of the foliage where a new shoot will come up. I really do like these little hand scoops. When you're filling seed trays, when I'm starting the beginning of the season, this is handy as well. Alright, so now I'm far enough here, I'm going to go ahead and pull up some of the drip tape again. Just be careful not to okay. I just killed one. Well, that'll be okay. We're both pretty excited about Thea retiring the end of this year. Making headway. She's been cleaning up lots of the things that we've had in our workshop for years, and now we've been able to sell some of those things to be able to help pay for some of the big things we're buying now. Help pay, I said. Some of the things we're buying are kind of expensive. Now this is not dyed mulch. I just want to make sure this is hardwood bark that's been double ground, and though it will look a lot like the dyed mulches, which I really don't think that are any good for your property, you know, that you can get at the box stores and all. But it does look like it when you look at this. It does, as it dries out, you can see it's lighter. It's almost a grayish brown color. And even if the softwood, so all these are very soft wood, the state that we're at right now. And there's another weed. Okay, hold that one. And when they're softwood, they'll tilt on angles like this when you're doing this. And that's okay. They'll straighten right back up. Within a week's time, they'll be finding the straight up, finding, I was going to say due north, but no such thing as finding due north there. Oh, Lord. And if you only had sawdust, or if you had shavings from, stuff that came from the horse's stall, whether it's wood shavings or sawdust, that's all fine to use. You can do just as good as this. And of course, it's about, I think it's about 3:30 when I went out and got some of this stuff, so in the afternoon, so it's getting pretty darn hot out here. I'm baking. Okay, it's getting a little bit too hot for me. I'm getting a little lightheaded. I've been staying hydrated, but it's pretty hot. It's only 83 degrees Fahrenheit right now. But I did get it mulched down to the corner down here. So I'm pretty happy how it came out. I did damage just a couple of the new softwood sections that are coming up. When I say softwood, these are the parts that really flex super easy. The ones that still bend, but bend pretty difficult. Some of those you probably saw during the video. Like this is a semi-hardwood right here, which I've been up to there. And I only got to here. I'll have to get another load of wood mulch to do the rest of this area, and I might transplant another one over here, even though this is not the time to transplant plants. Even ideally, this should be done first thing in the morning, but because it's not as sensitive or as delicate as doing a transplant at all, it's still, if I want to do it optimally, I'd do it in the very cool morning, then water it afterwards. I have the drip tape on right now. I don't know if you could see it. I turned it on for 45 minutes. It waters the whole garden here. But that'll help to put a little more moisture into the mulch that's above this. And that'll help hold some more moisture until this one comes on at midnight, I believe. So that'll set it up for tomorrow. Ideally, it'd be an overcast day when we do this, but you know, you've got to do it when you can. And I'm busy in the mornings because I'm doing splitting wood in the mornings. And I have to do that when it's coolest because it's a little more physically taxing than this job is. So I'm going to go get cooled off, go inside, and take a break. So if you found this video of value, please give us a thumbs up. Refer back to the previous videos on this where you can see we did this stool layering. Mounding and stool layering is what we've been doing to get a few plants into multiple plants. But this is a way of propagating things, and we can do it outside of the chain link fence because the deer don't like these nearly as much as the other plants. Thanks so much for watching, folks. Stay safe and grow some more of your own food. Bye-bye now.